Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really close look at something pretty fundamental, our daily habits.
hmm
We've pulled together some great insights from the Everyday English Journey episode. Think of this as, well, your fast track to understanding how those small, consistent actions can really add up.
Exactly, whether that's for life goals or, like in the original episode, getting better at English.
Right, so we've looked through the transcript, which, covered quite a bit. Basics of habits, keywords like routine, consistency.
Yeah, and even some grammar points, gerunds, and infinitives for talking about habits. Plus, there's a really good personal story in there.
Oh, yeah, and the role play, too.
The role play and even some, like, cultural takes on morning routines, which I found fascinating.
Definitely. So have you ever really thought about how just, say, 10 minutes a day could actually shift things for you, your life, your learning?
It sounds small, but
It does. That's what we're diving into. By the end of this, we really hope you'll get the how of it all and, some practical takeaways. So let's start right at the beginning. What exactly is a habit? How did they define it?
well, basically, it's something you do often, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
usually it becomes pretty automatic. Emma, in the source material, defined it kind of like that's something you do without tons of conscious thought.
Right. And they gave some good examples, didn't they? Contrasting ones.
Yeah, like the helpful habit of drinking water when you wake up
Hmm.
versus maybe the less helpful one, and I think we all know this one, grabbing your phone immediately.
Guilty. Yeah, absolutely.
But the good news is, and Leo pointed this out, habits aren't, set in stone. They're learned.
Okay.
So that means you can actually unlearn them or, replace them with better ones.
That feels quite empowering, actually. Now, the episode talked about three key terms for understanding habits: routine, consistency, and momentum. Let's break those down a bit.
Sure. So routine, Emma defined that as like a regular pattern in your day.
Okay.
Could be your morning routine, bedtime, study routine. Habits are often the building blocks of those routines.
Yeah.
Like your morning routine might include the habit of making coffee.
Ah, I see. So the routine is the structure, habits are the actions within it. Makes sense.
Exactly. Then there's consistency. Leo really stressed this one. It's not about doing something just, once in a while.
Right.
It's about doing it repeatedly, showing up regularly. That's what keeps the habit alive.
Okay. Consistency. Got it. And the third one, momentum.
Yeah, momentum. Emma seemed to really like this word. It's that feeling of moving forward.
Uh-huh.
The more you do something consistently, the easier it gets to keep it going. It sort of fuels itself. Success builds success.
Yeah. Leo used that analogy, didn't he? The bicycle one.
He did.
That initial push is the hardest part.
Exactly. But once you're rolling,
It takes less effort to keep going. You can really see how that applies to learning something new, can't you?
totally. That first stage feels tough, but stick with it, be consistent, and it starts to feel smoother. You build momentum.
And they shared their own examples, right?
Yeah.
To make it concrete.
Yeah, really small ones too. Emma mentioned just 10 minutes of stretching in the morning,
Okay.
and Leo talked about writing just 3 short sentences every night. Reflection.
Wow, okay. Both really show that start small idea.
Precisely. And then they turned it over to you, the listener, with some prompts.
Yeah, I liked those. First, what's a habit you already do without thinking? Like brushing teeth, maybe?
Right, or that coffee break. And then the more action-oriented one.
Yeah.
What's one small new habit you'd like to start?
Gets you thinking, practically.
It does. So we've got the basics down. But to talk about this stuff well, you need the words, right?
True.
So let's dig into some of that key vocabulary they highlighted.
Okay, let's do it. First up was routine. We touched on this. Morning routine example. Wake up, shower, coffee. Simple pattern.
hmm And they asked you, do you have a study routine for English? Good question.
Then consistency, the big idea.
Right.
Regular effort matters, even if it's small.
Yeah, even 10 minutes a day adds up. Consistency is the
Well,
key.
yeah.
That was the example sentence. It really sticks.
It does. And thinking about where you could be more consistent, maybe with listening practice.
Good prompt. Next, productivity.
Right.
Basically getting stuff done, using time well.
Right. And the tip about turning off notifications, so relevant.
Isn't it just? Helps you focus, increases productivity. They also ask you to think about when you feel most productive. Morning, evening.
Knowing your own rhythm, then momentum, Emma's favorite.
Yeah, that feeling of forward movement, how it gets easier.
Once I started reading every night, I built momentum. That's a great example of how it works. Consistency builds momentum.
Exactly. Then trigger. That's the cue, right? The reminder.
Yeah, like using a phone alarm as a trigger to drink water.
Mm.
Simple, effective.
And thinking. What could your trigger be for studying? Opening your notebook, setting out your books.
Good practical thought. Okay, next was reward,
Hmm.
the positive bit after you do the habit.
Mm-hmm. Like 10 minutes of YouTube after homework, a little treat.
Makes sense. Rewards help new habits stick, they said.
Definitely. And finally, break a habit. Stopping something you do regularly.
Like trying to break the habit of going to bed too late. A classic.
Uh-huh. A lot of us probably want to break that one. So yeah, knowing these words really helps you talk about and think about your own habits.
Totally. And then they moved into the grammar side of things, right? How we actually structure sentences about habits, gerunds and infinitives.
Yeah, part 3, they started with gerunds, that's the verb, plus anging form, acting like a noun.
Okay. Like their example, starting a new habit takes effort. Starting is the subject there.
Exactly. Or reading every day helps me relax. Reading is the thing that helps.
Exercising in the morning gives me energy. Same idea.
Yep, you're treating the action itself as a thing.
Got it. Then infinitives, that's to plus verb.
Right. Often used to show purpose. Why you're doing something.
Like I wake up early to study. Studying is the reason, the purpose.
Precisely. Or I drink coffee to stay awake. I study vocabulary to speak better. Explains the why.
Okay, that makes sense. And they also mentioned infinitives after certain verbs.
Yeah, like I decided to start a new habit, or I want to be more consistent, plan to exercise. It follows those kinds of verbs naturally.
So having that grammar helps you express your intentions and actions clearly.
Definitely. And then part 4 really brought it all to life with Sarah's story.
Yes, Sarah's story. That was quite impactful. Feeling overwhelmed, right? Student, work, learning English.
Yeah, classic situation, staying up late, not eating well, feeling behind. Many people can relate, I think.
For sure. And the turning point was that quote from her friend's book.
Oh yeah, that was great. Don't try to change everything, just change one thing. Start tiny.
So simple, but powerful.
It really is. And Sarah's tiny habit was just writing in a journal 5 minutes before bed.
Just 5 minutes. And specific questions, too.
Yep. One good thing, one difficulty, one thing to try tomorrow. And she used a notebook and pen. No apps, no screens, kept it super simple.
And the results. That ripple effect they talked about.
Yeah, it was amazing. After a week, just from 5 minutes of journaling, she felt more focused.
Wow.
After 2 weeks, she was naturally going to bed a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Then she added herbal tea. Just snowballed gently.
Calmer evenings, better sleep, lighter mornings, all from that one tiny start.
And the key thing seemed to be that feeling of control she got back.
In the middle of all the busyness.
Exactly. And later, she added another small habit, listening to English podcasts on her commute. Also small, also consistent.
And her big takeaway, I thought this was crucial.
Yeah, I don't wait to feel motivated. I just do the small thing first.
Boom. Like, because there's so much procrastination, doesn't it? Don't wait for the feeling. Just do the action.
Absolutely. Such a powerful mindset shift. Then part 5 gave us that conversational snapshot, the role play.
Right. Maya and James, just a casual chat.
Very natural. James saying he was trying to get back into a morning routine.
And his routine was pretty simple, right? Wake up 30 minutes earlier, stretch, eat breakfast, nothing huge.
No, very doable. Which makes it relatable. Then Maya jumps in.
Yeah, admitting she often rushes out, just grabs coffee, and wanting to stop scrolling her phone before bed.
Another super common one. And James's suggestion, the old school alarm clock.
Low-tech solution. I like that.
Me too. Remove the temptation. And James also shared his trick for consistency.
Keeping it small, right? Especially on tired days.
Exactly. Don't break the chain, even if you do less. Maya then thinks about maybe just one bedtime goal and that idea of accountability, texting each other.
All very practical things you could actually do.
Totally. And the episode pulled out some useful phrases from that chat, like, I've been trying to get back into a routine, or do you have any tricks to stay consistent?
Yeah. Stuff you can actually use in conversations about this.
Which leads nicely into part 6, where they broadened the view. Looked at morning routines globally.
The cultural angle. That was fascinating. How different places approach the start of the day.
It really shows how much culture shapes these, seemingly personal habits. It's not just you, it's your environment, your values.
So let's do a quick trip. Japan. What was the feel there?
Quiet, structured, seemed like. Early rising, traditional breakfast roast, soup, fish, maybe some stretching or meditation. Focus on calm.
Okay. And Germany.
More organized, perhaps. Simple breakfast, bread, cheese. But checking the calendar. News. Emphasis on productivity, managing time.
Right. Then Canada, USA.
More varied, they said, but often faster. Coffee to go, cereal maybe. That get up and go feel. Productivity, often a big focus, sometimes even skipping breakfast.
Okay. A contrast then with, say, Turkey.
Big contrast, especially weekends. Much more family-focused, slower pace. That big traditional breakfast with olives, cheese, tea, enjoying the moment, connection.
Sounds lovely. And India.
Early rising again, often with yoga or prayer,
Mhm.
chai tea,
Yeah.
quiet rituals, homemade food, maybe walks, a blend of energy and stillness rooted in tradition.
Wow. So many different ways to start the day.
Yeah. And it makes you reflect, doesn't it? They asked you, the listener, which one feels most like yours? Which might you like to try?
It's a great point. You can borrow ideas, right?
Right.
Mix and match to create something that works for you.
Absolutely. Create your own rhythm.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's quickly recap the main takeaways.
Sounds good. We saw the huge power in starting small. Tiny daily habits, even 5 minutes, can really compound over time.
We got key vocabulary, routine, consistency, momentum, trigger, reward.
Right. And the grammar gerunds and infinitives for talking about habits and goals.
We heard Sarah's inspiring story, that tiny journal habit making big waves.
We saw habits in action in that Maya and James chat. Very relatable.
And we got that wider perspective from looking at morning routines across different cultures.
So to make this practical for you, here are a few things you can try based on the episode.
Okay, homework time.
Yeah. First, pick one new word or phrase about habits we talked about. Try using it in a sentence today or tomorrow. Maybe, I want to build momentum by listening every day. Simple.
Good one. Okay, so
Write down or just say aloud one small habit you want to start. Use a gerund or infinitive, like starting my day with quiet time helps me focus, or I plan to drink more water.
nice. And third,
Practice speaking. Just for 60 seconds. Talk about your own routine, record yourself, use a mirror, tell someone. Don't worry about perfection.
just practice talking about it.
Exactly. It's all about starting small and being consistent. That was the main message, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Just like learning one phrase a day helps your English, one small habit a day builds towards bigger goals.
Couldn't agree more. And looking ahead, our next deep dive, we'll be getting into sounding more confident in conversations.
Ooh, good one. Focusing on openers and closers.
Yep, drawing from episode 4, social English openers and closers that feel natural. How to start and end chats smoothly.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into habits.
Thanks for listening. Keep practicing, keep learning, and definitely keep those small habits going. We'll catch you next time.